Welcome back. Bystander Awareness Month is a national effort to encourage bystanders to speak up if they witness a crime. A bystander intervention is the act of assisting someone in an emergency or non-emergency situation. This ranges from talking to a friend who appears depressed to even helping someone who is abused in some way, shape, or form. I spoke with Teresa Romero. She is the community prosecutor for the Bernalillo County District Attorney's Office to find out why Bystander Awareness Month is so important and how it could ultimately save lives. Teresa Romero, a community prosecutor with the Bernalillo County District Attorney's Office, is joining us right now. Teresa, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Definitely. Right now, let's talk a little bit about the Bystander Intervention Awareness Month.
Sure. So bystanders are witnesses to events or actions, possibly a crime, who are not directly involved. And bystander intervention is recognizing a potentially harmful interaction and making the choice to respond in a way that may influence the outcome of that situation. And people oftentimes may be less likely to respond or act or intervene if there are a lot of other people around. This is what's known as the bystander effect. And so that's what Bystander Awareness Month is. We want to encourage our community members to be active bystanders and take action when they see a troubling situation. Bystander Awareness Month is a national effort to encourage folks to speak up when they see a crime or something happen.
And I know a lot of us may have this question, what should somebody do if they witness a crime?
So the first thing to remember, first and foremost, is always safety first. So never put yourself in a situation that's going to compromise your own safety. But there are a few different ways that a person can intervene in a crime. They're called the 4 Ds: direct, distract, delegate, and delay. So direct intervention is exactly what it sounds like. It's when you step in directly and intervene, making it known that you see what's going on and that it's not okay. Talking directly to the person who appears to be in trouble, asking them if they need any help, if they would like you to sit with them, who they came with. So directly engaging with the people involved in whatever the situation is, if it's a crime or something that seems to be troubling. The second way is distraction, and this is using something, anything, to pull away from the behavior. So it can be as simple as asking the people involved for directions, changing the subject, or just causing a scene, creating a distraction to allow the person in trouble the opportunity to get away and get to a safe place. Wow. It can be pretty scary and intimidating to approach situations like this, and that's where the 3rd D comes in, delegation. And this is where you enlist people to help you, whether that's a store manager, a security guard, other bystanders. You ask people to come in and help you intervene. And if you see someone whose safety is in jeopardy and you're concerned for their safety, calling the police. That's typically what we think of as delegating the responsibility to intervene on someone else, and that may be the safest option. And lastly, you can delay. You can wait for the situation to resolve and diffuse itself, and then check in with the victim afterwards and see if there's anything that you can do to help or support them and make sure that they're doing all right.
And again, you know, all this witness testimony and bystander testimony, it's even been crucial in helping to win cases too, right?
Absolutely. So in any case, testimony is evidence. And when I say testimony, I mean a person going into court, swearing to tell the truth, and telling a judge or a jury what they saw or heard happened. And a lot of times, testimony is going to be the only evidence in a case. And that's why it's really important to have independent witnesses who can corroborate what happened. Prosecutors, we just want the truth, whatever the truth is. And so independent witnesses who don't have a stake in the outcome of the case make the process much more fair, both for the victim and for the person who's accused of committing a crime. And so if you do find yourself in the situation where you are witnessing a crime, it's important to pay attention to details like where you are, where the crime is happening, who are the people involved, what do they look like, how tall are they, their body build, skin color, eye color, are they saying anything? Do you see a weapon? Those kinds of things. If you notice any distinguishing characteristics like scars or tattoos, paying attention to these little details and then providing all of that information to the police when they arrive can help make a case stronger. Any case that has an independent witness to the crime is going to be stronger than a case that doesn't have that.
Yeah. Where can we find more information, Teresa?
So the Albuquerque Police Department has a crime prevention unit, and their phone number is 505-768-2006, and that division can provide a lot of information about how to prevent crimes. And the district attorney's office also has a website that has a lot of different resources on it, and that is www.burncoda.com.
Valuable information. Teresa Romero, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.